What's up? I'm Kamika Seki. Thanks for stopping by. I split the OpenClaw installation guide into two parts, Part 1 and Part 2. So I tried summarizing it with NotebookLM. But man, even though I told it not to use Japanese, it kept messing things up every single time. And on top of that, it wasn't even installed from a clean environment. It basically just removed ClaudeBot and swapped in OpenClaw, which was the wrong approach. If you want to really understand how OpenClaw works, this video is for you. Alright, let's begin.
Alright, let's dive right in. I'm Seki, and today we are going into the deep end with OpenClaw. Yeah, we're skipping the easy install and building this thing straight from the source code. Now look, this path can be a little tricky, but if you want total control over your setup, this is absolutely the way to do it. So if you're ready, let's get this thing up and running. You know, to get us started, I want to share this quote from a friend of mine, Shirakawa. It just perfectly nails the problem, doesn't it? When projects evolve, when they change names, our systems can get so cluttered with old files and broken configurations. So our mission today is to carve out a clean, kind of no-fail installation path that just cuts right through all that chaos. So here's the game plan. We are going for a clean, robust installation built directly from the source. And this isn't just about getting the software to run, you know? It's about getting our hands on all the latest features and having complete control over the entire environment. Okay, so picture this. We're starting with a fresh clone of the official repository. We're right inside the project directory on an Ubuntu server. I'm doing all of this on a remote machine using SSH, which, you know, is a pretty standard way to manage servers. Trust me on this one, by the end of this explainer, we will have it working. Now, this slide is really interesting because these first few steps, they're often just completely left out of the official documentation. The docs just assume you've already got PNPM, which is this super fast package manager, all ready to go. So to make sure we do, we first enable Corpack. Then we make sure we've got the latest version of PNPM active. And only then do we kick off the main event, installing dependencies, building the UI, and finally, building the whole application. And just like that, the build is done. The terminal is all green, we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. But as any developer will tell you, a successful build is really just the start of the journey. Now we have to actually run it, and that brings us to our first challenge, or as I like to call it, the first boss, the port conflict. So we run the commands to get the system online and start the dashboard, and nothing. Crickets. The URL is right there, but the page just will not load. This is that classic hair-pulling moment of confusion. I mean, the code compiled, so what on earth could be wrong? A quick peek at the logs gives us our first real clue. It's not that the application is broken, it's that something else is already sitting on the port that it needs to use. It's like we showed up to a party and tried to sit in a chair that was already taken. So, and this is the crucial part. We're dealing with a totally invisible process. This isn't a crash, it's a conflict. Think of it like a ghost on the chip. Some process left over from an old install, or maybe a failed startup, just running silently in the background, holding that port hostage. And this right here perfectly illustrates the culprit. See, OpenClaw has had a few different names over its life, and one of its old names was ClaudeBot. So even though we just installed the new OpenClaw service, the old ClaudeBot service was never actually removed. It's still enabled, and it's starting up automatically and squatting on port 1878.9 before our new service even has a chance. My colleague Mizuki's reaction to this was just perfect. It's that feeling, you know, when you find a critical clue, even if all the technical details are still a bit fuzzy. It's a great reminder that troubleshooting is often just about recognizing a pattern before you even fully understand the cause. Just as we were about to start diving into all these complex commands to find and kill that process, our veteran developer, Mamu, chimed in with this little gem of wisdom. You know, sometimes the simplest solution really is the best. A system reboot is like a great reset button. It clears out all those phantom processes. And if our new OpenClaw service is set to start on boot, it'll probably grab the port first. Okay, so we take Mamu's advice, reboot the server. And what do you know? It works. The dashboard loads perfectly. We've officially defeated the first boss. But our adventure is far from over. A new challenge is already waiting for us, the missing token. So the UI is up, which is fantastic progress. But now we've got this new error message just staring us in the face. The gateway, which is basically the bridge between our dashboard and the AI agent, it can't authenticate. So the front door is open, but the hallway to the main room is locked shut.
Thankfully, the fix for this one is actually pretty straightforward. That gateway token gets generated during the initial setup, and it's just stored in a config file. So we can just bypass the UI completely and pull it directly from the OpenClaw.json file with a simple command line query.
So we copy that token from the terminal, paste it into the gateway token field on the dashboard, and click connect. And instantly, the status flips to connected. It totally feels like a victory. But is it? I mean, is a connected status really enough to be sure that everything is working? Well, that brings us to our third and final boss. And this one is the most subtle and honestly, the most frustrating of them all. Because it's not an error message, it's just silence. To test our shiny new connection, we sent a really simple prompt to the AI, just asking it what model it's using. And then we wait. And wait. The little indicator just keeps spinning, stuck in that pondering state forever. It never responds. So yeah, the connection is live, but the AI is a total ghost. What is going on? And once again, Mamu just cuts right to the heart of the problem with this insight. We established a connection to the AI agent, sure, but we never actually told the agent which AI model to use. It's like calling someone on the phone, they pick up and say hello, but then you just stand there in silence. The line is open, but no communication is actually happening. So the real fix is to go back to the core configuration. And the absolute simplest, most reliable way to do that is to run the OpenClaw configure command. This just relaunches that initial setup wizard and lets us properly define our AI provider, put in our API key, and set a default model. Oh, and this right here illustrates a super common point of confusion. When you're using SSH to connect to a remote server, you might instinctively think you're remote, right? But the wizard is asking where the OpenClaw service is being set up. Since you're running the command on the server, the right choice is local this machine. You're configuring the machine you are currently logged into. So we run through that configuration wizard, we select our AI model, save the settings, and restart the gateway one last time. It is time for the final test, the moment of truth. We send the exact same prompt again, tell me the model you are using. And this time, we get a response. The AI actually replies, confirming the model name we just configured. We did it! We have finally achieved a fully functional, source-built installation. Okay, let's debrief. What are the big lessons from this whole troubleshooting gauntlet? First, always hunt for those old legacy services after an update, especially if a project has changed its name. Second, if you see gateway token missing, that means the UI can't talk to the AI, and you gotta go pull that token from the config file. And finally, and this is a big one, remember that a connected status doesn't mean it's actually functional. The AI won't say a word until you've explicitly configured a model for it to use. So we've battled our way through a standard source build, and we won. But this whole process opens up a really fascinating new question. Now that we have this level of control, what happens when we want to build something custom, something that the official docs don't even cover? Well, that is exactly what we're going to explore next time. Thanks for watching.